Today we're going to be talking about something that one of my coaches in the past called shiny object syndrome, which is, it's a term I'm sure you've heard, which is just, it's the idea that, oh, the next shiny thing is getting my attention. And not that shiny things aren't fun, but it can definitely be a distraction from getting really grounded and clear. We talk about clarity all the time, getting really clear about what's the foundation of your business. And so while shiny objects can be fun, they can also really be distracting and can cause us to feel like we're chasing things. And it's like the feeling of, okay, the next thing is going to get me where I want to go. Look at this over here and look at this over here. When we're really not actually getting anywhere. It feels like maybe momentum, but it really doesn't actually move the needle as far as you getting clients and like making income, right?
Yeah, and this often looks like, okay, I too should go on YouTube and start live streaming, or I should be making TikToks. Well, I see this other person's doing blogs. This other person doesn't even have a website, and so our mind will go like, well, they don't need it, so maybe I don't need it, which could be true, but the reason it's working for one person or not working is based on, again, who am I talking to? Where do those people congregate, or where would they hear my message? And understanding that the things I'm choosing to do have a purpose behind them that makes some logical sense. Like, there's nothing wrong, of course, especially early on, you're going to throw things at the wall. But the idea, at least for me, is it's to kind of have this marriage between this is an area that makes sense for who I'm speaking to, where I could potentially reach those people that match what I do, which starts with knowing some internal clarity of this is what I'm actually doing. And then this is a platform that I could actually keep making content on, keep posting in, keep writing, or I could keep visiting that part of my town because I enjoy it. So it also resonates. So there's millions of marketing strategies, or whatever you want to call them, that objectively work. We could find 400 examples of someone who's doing really well following like this. They do TikTok shorts, and then those TikTok shorts lead to this other thing. But a TikTok short, for example, may not really resonate with the way you work with people. You might not ever use the app. And then it's not something like, I know that world, I know how it works. But the energy behind that I gotta find the thing, right? That's kind of the more interesting part for us, and where I think we have some, unique perspectives on, because we're so immersed in the world of emotional work, and that's what we, that's kind of our bread and butter. So not just, okay, so like the external steps, right? So find a technique or find a platform you like, find where your audience is. Everyone knows this on some level. But what are all of those internal mechanisms that make you go, well, yeah, but I need to get on TikTok, I need to get on Instagram? Usually it's, well, there's a lot of different things it could be, right? But there's an avoidance of that sometimes uncomfortable, not always fun process of determining, okay, I getting to know myself and know who I'm speaking to. It's almost safer and easier to have this just like chasing, because you never sort of arrive at this place of, wait, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to put out into the world, and I'm going to like be consistent with it, and it still might not work. That's a little more confronting, although that is the reality in most cases, versus, oh, I'm going to like find this TikTok hack, or I'm going to make these like cute, clever videos that might get you 100,000 views, but no one would take you seriously as a practitioner, right? So the inner work of kind of dissecting, who am I, what's actually relevant to me, what are my strong points, what are the pains that I can actually help someone solve. Because in the end, right, we're talking about clients. you can make a cute, funny, entertaining video that could get views, but it might not solve any pain point, and it might not communicate to anyone that you could actually help them with their pain. And this is like the distinction.
Yeah, totally. You know what? When you said, like, Evan, just now, when you said looking for the next thing, I think that really is the key. It's the key to understanding why we do it, because it's about the fact that there's nothing out there that's the thing. Except you are the thing. You are the thing, and it's that simple. So, yes, it's about avoiding, not consciously. You're not doing it consciously. It's you're avoiding the thing is you. And that is the avoidance, because if it's, there's all these reasons why, well, if it's me, then fill in the blank, why that's uncomfortable, or how that could go wrong, or what could be bad about that. That's always I forgot, am I saying secondary gain?
Mm.
Yeah, the secondary gain, or whatever, the unconscious payoff for chasing something outside of yourself, thinking this is going to be the thing that's going to get me what I want, is is the distraction, and it keeps you in perpetual waiting mode, not quite there, not quite ready yet.
Hmm.
And it's perpetual. So it protects you from actually working with clients and having real experiences with clients, and having experiences that teach you who more and more who you're working with, because this evolves over time. And we talk about niche a lot. And I heard something yesterday, actually, from a coach that I follow. And I bought some of her courses and been in some of her programs. Her name's Amanda Francis. And she said, she was talking about niche, and she was saying people resist niching so much because they think that it's going to limit them and put them in a box. And nobody wants to be in a box. I totally get that. But she was like, what it does is it allows you to be able to speak to a specific person about a specific pain problem you solve. However, you have to understand that you are the niche. And when she said this, I was like, that's what it is. I'd never thought of it that way. But she says, you are the niche, literally. So you evolve. And then your message may evolve, but you still have to understand it's in you. So stop chasing it out there. Just stop it. Stop it right now.
If you were all to think about a, a teacher or person that you like and you follow their content, it's not as though, oh, if they had just, got these exciting new thumbnails, or they started doing this, marketing trick, that's suddenly the thing that's going to make you really love and respect them, right? If I think of the people I've looked up to in this space, Brad Yates, people like that, it's not, oh, I like Brad because he's got this, slick camera set up, or because he started making, or the core essence is you. It's knowing what you are bringing to the table, whether you can perfectly articulate it or not. There's an understanding of this is what I'm doing, this is sort of who I am and what I'm delivering. And then that's the thing, that's the meat of it, right? Whether that's showing up on a TikTok or something else, that's just kind of like the delivery mechanism. Right? That in and of itself is not going to massively be what people are resonating with, right? Like you're not going to, if you don't eat McDonald's, you're not going to start eating McDonald's every day because now it's in a blue wrapper or they made this funny, entertaining commercial. That stuff just is to get your eyeballs on you, right? But then the substance of what it is, of what you're doing and who you are, that's what people will respond to. And so that's really what you want to develop primarily. Because even if you, and you see this constantly, and there's a lot of, I guess the term is influencers, right? Which can be, it's a broad term. There people hate that word and like hate influencers, but it's also used to describe people that actually do have, providing massive value and services to the world. But in any case, it's not uncommon for people to get this sort of temporary success based on kind of a gimmicky thing, right? So I have no doubt that if I were to pay enough money and hire the right agency, we could find some way to make some kind of viral ish type content. But that might have nothing to do with something that's actually sustainable for me for 5 years of like, this resonates with people that would be my clients. Whereas like the tapping videos I put on my channel, they're going to be relevant 2, 3, 4 years from now. Like if you do a process with me looking at me on camera and you go like, oh, I got some relief from that, that's substantive to what I actually do. Like there's a direct correlation. And it's the same with Brad or anyone else. If you, oh, I like tapping with Brad, I'm probably going to sign up for something where I do tapping with Brad. Like that's the whole point. It's not because we found this amazing strategy or hack. So the hard part, you could call it, or like the real work, is that core substance of who I am and what I'm delivering. After that, they're just different strategies or software or whatever to get that substance in front of people. But even if it worked, even if you find that trick that gets you this video that gets in front of 100,000 people, if there's no substance behind it sustainably that people can reference, people will just move on. It's just a funny, cute, entertaining, deep, whatever video. And we've all seen hundreds of thousands of those. They get spread around for a week. They're super popular. But only the only ones where that actually translate or snowballs into something sustainable is because the person behind it already has an infrastructure. They have kind of who they are in place. If I suddenly got like 100 million followers, I don't have the infrastructure to handle that. I couldn't handle like 100,000 emails coming in a day by myself. So that wouldn't even be good for, I mean, it might be good temporarily for income, but it wouldn't be good for my nervous system and my like whole stability, because I don't have the thing in place to deal with that anyway. And that's part of this.
Yeah, that's a really good point you bring up about nervous system capacity. And, a lot of we get barraged with things on social media about how to implement all these approaches and processes and, like you said, strategies, whatever you call them, in order to get clients or in order to fill in the blank, scale your income. Um, but those things work. Like you said, they work, but they don't always take into consideration where you're at, in your journey and what your capacity is for what you can handle coming in. And I think that one of the most important things I can tell coaches that are just starting out is that you just need to start moving energy and start coaching. And even if you don't know what your niche is, even if you don't know this, okay, stop chasing strategies, stop trying to learn the next thing. Don't go on to the next thing or the next certification or the next course until you start getting the experiences of working with clients. Even if, and I mean, sometimes people say, I don't feel comfortable charging yet. I still feel like I'm practicing. Fine, go give it away. Just go coach people, because the energy of the service you're giving, like that moves energy in your life. It moves energy. And then when you experience what it feels like to help someone and they say, wow, that really helped me, then you realize you're like, oh, okay, I helped someone and it moves energy. And then you start to get clear about how you're helping people. So it is a process that you must actually do it in order to continue to get clear on it. But you have to start somewhere. And so this constant chasing is stopping you from just start seeing clients.
Yeah, that's a great point. The chasing becomes, like you said, I'm chasing an external thing, and then there's a constant like looking for that external thing to be what clicks and gets the ball rolling. And when you flip that on its head, I think that's more the correct way to start, which is this is a process of self-discovery. It's a process of learning who I am, how I work, who I resonate with, the type of material, the type of things I like to talk about, particular strengths I've discovered through working. You discover them through active engagement. You don't like find the perfect software and platform and then later figure that out. You learn who you are by working, and then that clarifies and codifies with time and consistency, and then it becomes more kind of obvious. Oh yeah, I should be doing more of this. I should be making more things talking about perfectionism because it keeps coming up in people that I see. So you start with the things that actually could get you a client or your first couple clients, and then those begin to reveal with the attitude of this is me doing the best I can to help these people, and through that, when I focus on that, I'm going to simultaneously be kind of collecting this information of, oh yeah, these are the patterns I'm seeing. These are the ways I like to work. I actually don't like groups. Maybe I actually really love groups. Maybe I don't like doing short rounds, so that's not my thing. So where can I speak more at length? I don't like working with beginners as much as people who have 20 years of meditating and I speak their language. Right? These are the things you figure out, and then it becomes more and more obvious what types of where you would want to be presenting yourself and what kind of things you are presenting and in the format you're presenting them. So starting from self-discovery, building up that substance of who I am, and going for the lowest hanging fruit, right? There's people in my community. For some of you, where it's not has nothing to do with the internet, these would be the first places for me to start getting this experience, and then like refining, like crafting this diamond of this is who I am and what I do. And then yes, it's just about not just, but then it's more about getting eyeballs on it because I understand who those eyeballs are and who this is for.
Yeah, Evan, that's a really good point too, because don't you think that, I mean, in your own experience, did you find that you actually had to work with some clients that you realized you didn't want to work with because of something specific that helped you define who you do want to work with?
For sure, yeah. And the great thing about this work, it was I've been lucky. There's never like, oh God, I never want one of those clients again. I really haven't had that, which has been fortunate. But um, there are definite themes of like this is this is more natural for me. This is more of a fit, and there's certain things that you can lean into. Just like for example, in my case, well, it's kind of evolving, right? But basically, a lot of what I do um, probably speaks more. It does speak more, and this is conscious, right? The level of conversation starts with a little more of like, yeah, you probably already have been doing this before. Like I'm not like, hey everyone, this is kind of what a tapping point is, and this is like what a nervous system is, and how, right? There's a little more like let's get into it, and maybe a little higher level conversation a lot of the time, balanced with some things that are intentionally made to be more educational for people who don't have maybe as much experience. Because I'm not like against that, obviously, but there's a deliberate sort of delivery of, yeah, this is kind of more what resonates with me. People who I've been doing this for a while, but I have these sort of sticking points because I've done a lot of that. I've been through a lot of that myself. I can be like, oh yeah, well, you're meditating all the time, but you're actually subtly avoiding feeling your feelings in this meditation where you think you're processing emotion and you're actually not. And this is the difference. And oh, you've actually been kind of using tapping as a way to give you this temporary high that you use every single day, but there's a subtle in that not actually working through. So those are the kind of conversations I have way more, and I like having way more. So that makes me lean in a particular direction.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just the refinement of, how you like to talk to people, right? Like whether you want to be educating them
Yeah.
or focusing more on their specific issues, or whether, like, yeah, you might want to work with groups. You might try a group and hate it. Be like, I hate groups. I don't ever want to do that again. Like that's an important exploration of your style, and because it truly is. A lot of times I think this is really common, that coaches that I'm working with that are new or newer, they think that they should only focus on what people want from them. And I say, actually, you need to start with what you want. Like, what do you want to experience in this coaching relationship? Because that's important too. It should always be something that you want to experience. So if you think just because somebody else says, you see all this marketing online that says, um, something is dead, do this now, right? It's so black and white, and it's such a like a positional thing. So you might see like, oh, uh, private coaching is dead. Do group programs now. And so you might think, get scared and be like, oh God, private coaching is dead. Groups, I should do groups now. That kind of taking on someone else's limitations, even, or even just marketing that's just designed to grab you out of fear, can be really detrimental to your process of finding yourself and your special way of being with clients. And so it really is a process. And I think that it's also important to say, Evan, that while you're going through this process, that doesn't mean you shouldn't still pursue more learning. If that is something that feels good to you, don't do it at the cost of abandoning your own foundation and getting stabilized in your own experiences of working with clients, and learning about yourself and who you're really serving and how you want to serve them. Do continue to learn. Do get strategies. Strategies work. They really do. But don't let them be the thing that is distracting you from actually working with clients and making income and making an impact on people's lives.
Yeah, and it's a good question to ask yourself for sure. Those are all great points. Like, am I? You get a sense. Like, am I using searching for different strategies and techniques as a way of not looking at what's right in front of me and what would most get me someone I could work with tomorrow, right? Because these strategies and things, like, oh, groups are dead. The old way of coaching is dead. Like, that's obviously someone trying to sell you something, which is okay. That's their right. But it's to get you to be like, oh, I got to be doing that. It's to get you to look for that solution rather than without an inner framework and some sort of business framework. Every shiny object can be like, oh, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that. Right. And this is similar, just as like with your own inner work, like with human relationships and things, right? When you don't have much of a sense of self, there's like, oh, well, maybe I should be that. Maybe I should try to be this. I should try to be more outgoing. I should try to be more introverted. I should be meditating more. Like, it's that being pulled when when you have that same sort of lack of stability and clarity just transferred, because you may have it in your personal life, but you're new to starting a practice or something. And so you don't have that, this is who I am yet. So you find yourself getting like yanked in these different directions. And I think that's the good self-reference point. Like, do I feel like I have some sort of internal compass and clarity? So it's like, well, yes, obviously I wouldn't date this person. oh, yeah, I shouldn't be going out to this nightclub because that's not who I am at all. And it's not what I actually want to do with my Friday night. But if you don't have that, like, well, I guess I'm supposed to go to a nightclub because that's what people do. And I hate, but I actually hate loud music, right? It's the same thing here. Some
Yeah.
guy, you got to do this new group coaching strategy. It makes you 10 grand a month, but that's the equivalent of like the loud nightclub that you would hate, but you don't know that yet, and you're looking for someone else to give you an answer. So it keeps going back to that, like, do I have an internal sense of who I am and what I do? And if you're not working on that, then you will be more easily pulled in these different directions. Just as you all know, if you're not working on yourself in some way, you get pulled into situations. How did I end up here? How did I end up in this toxic dynamic? Well, because it's actually what happens. Like, the world is pulling at us all the time, and also, hey, you're going to make more money over here. You're going to get more attention over here. Hey, this is what you want. Like, that's what a lot of the world is. It's temptation in that way. And so the less you know who you are and what you're about, the more you will get pulled into it. Now, how do you actually work on that? Well, that's kind of what we do. That's what we talk about. I'll put a link in the chat, and there's a link in the description as well for our process, which starts taking you through that. Like, this is where we come in to not just say, yeah, you should be doing this, because these phrases like know who you are, work on yourself, like you see 1,000 of these posts on Instagram, but it's like, well, how do you actually do that in the business context? And that's kind of what we're about. So we have a free workshop that starts you on this process of how you break that down, and then something else we do called Ready for Clients that goes deeper into that. But that's what I think is the way to start thinking about it. Like, oh, I'm developing. We're not what we're telling you to be. We don't have a course that tells you become this type of coach. This is the sort of internal process, both emotionally and kind of in the mind, how you start to think through this so that you develop that internal sense of this is who I am.
Yes, the workshop is really valuable too, in and of itself. I highly recommend just watch the workshop and see what you think. And then at the end of the workshop, you're welcome to enroll in our program and go farther. And I think that's honestly, I gotta tell you, just to be transparent, one of the best ways to share what you do with someone is to give them something valuable that teaches them something, and then give them the option to continue to work with you is, I think, one of the most transparent, best ways to sell what you do when you're a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And the clarity is something that, comes across, and then is strategically, well, not, I mean, strategically, yes, but sort of organically, right? Like, these videos, these live streams we're doing with Nico, they're obviously for coaches. And that's important because a lot of people that, are that follow me are not coaches. So that's made clear, right? Like, they're probably not going to come to this. That's important though, because if it's super generic, like Nico and I are going to show you how to make all the money you want. Now, like, a lot more people would come to that, right? But it would be so generic. And then the people who would possibly respond to that content wouldn't necessarily be a good fit anyway. So it's like, this is a workshop or a live stream for coaches at a particular point, because somebody who's the head of a $9 billion company is not going to watch our workshop, right? But this is exactly for you if you are like, I am a coach. I'm a little, it's not, money's not rolling in. I'm not like completely established in who I am and what I do yet, but I want to know how to discover that and not have it be just an abstract, because the big thing we see, and people watching this probably are familiar, is like, So I just need to like tap on resistance to having a big coaching practice. No, that's not enough. You can't just wake up and do that every day. Okay, I'm going to allow myself to have a coaching business, or just like I allow myself to have more gigs in New York, right? I could do that now because I'm already established there and it helps, but I have to have the skills and like know where to go and who to talk to and how to start getting hired. And then what are the things that get you hired? Like there's a strategy to this. And that's why I could do a course for, do you want to start playing bass in New York City? And I could be very, very specific. And so that's what we're doing here. And I think it's a good way to model or think about for your own work. Yes, there's a lot of people this is not for, but the people who it's for, it's exactly for them.
Yeah. And guess how we figured that out? We did the work to define exactly who this is for. And necessity is the mother of all invention, because also it's a matter of seeing what people need. Like we're already working with people, and then we're like, wow, people really are struggling with this thing, this one thing here. How do we help them not struggle, And we think about, well, what did we do when we were in their position? And you got to go back and go through the journey and be like, okay, this is how we did it. And then that's how you get the clarity. So we're not just telling you to do it, like we're doing the work too, all the time. We're doing it with you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what this is all about. So, do let us know your questions, what you're going through around this, because I do find that people keep this. They either keep it private, or the conversation becomes again very almost fragmented a lot of times, right? It's like it gets very business heavy, meaning like, yeah, you got to get on TikTok. You got to start doing group calls because one-on-one is dead or something. Like that's disconnected from you as a person. Or it gets very sort of spiritual and like just manifest a business or something. It's like, well, that's not we've seen a thousand times people stuck in that loop. And it's like there is the marriage of these two things, of combining the emotional work with a clear strategy. Just again, like learning an instrument, learning a language, right? I want to learn Japanese. I have to like take those classes. I can't just tap on it. But the tapping is good for the resistance, for the belief that, oh, I'm too old to do this. Oh, the language is too hard, right? This interplay is like the sweet spot, and it really does work. It really works when you address it on both levels, because were you're talking about yourself. I mean, you exist. Like you can't fail if you're going from the approach of I'm trying to learn who I am and what works for me and what people resonate with and where I help people the most. Like that's innate. That's a natural thing.
Yeah, totally. And I was just thinking that if there was one thing I want you all to take away from this live today, is that if you have a desire to be of service, to coach and help others heal and transform their lives, then you have to understand that that desire is there for a reason, and it wouldn't have been placed there if you weren't meant for it. So within the desire itself is the pathway of how to do it. You don't have to know what that is yet. You don't have to find it out there. It's already within the desire that's within you. And that's the simplicity of it. If you can accept that, then it's a lot easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, and part of what we do and who we find ourselves talking to, we know that we're talking to people who have a sincere desire around this, right? There's a difference between that. Like I really feel called in a way to like learn how to facilitate people, to learn how to this art form of helping people work through issues or traumas or whatever you're doing. That's a really different energy than like, oh, there's a lot of money in coaching, right? Let's become a coach. I just got an email from someone, like a marketing thing, and it was so clearly about that. It's like, fine, they know their audience. Their audience is, you can become a coach and you can make a lot of money really fast. different energy, different thing, right? But in that sincere desire to work with people and like develop this art, that's such a specific thing that's in you for a reason, and deserves to be cultivated. It deserves to get out in front of people, because it's meeting a need. That's I'm sure that's like sort of a personal belief system and spiritual idea, but my feeling is that that's coming up because it's addressing an actual need to help some suffering out there. That's why you want to become skilled at this versus just, oh, I could throw up the certification and maybe get some money real quick. It's totally different thing. But you can also make this something that you make a good living from, if that's also part of your desire. But also it doesn't have to be, because that's clarity, right? It might be something you feel a calling to do, and you already have this other career, but you really want to like help like the veterans in your community or something, right? That's clarity. And if you know that, you're going to get that like fulfillment, that satisfaction from, I make my money over here, but I volunteer with these people, and it's like, oh, that's exactly what I want. So we want you to find what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many ways to be compensated, isn't there? It's not just money. But then it's okay. It's okay to want money too. It's okay. And you can want money from coaching. You can desire to have income, and also you can help others. You can volunteer, you can give your time in different ways. You could have both. And you can also, you have the right to try it and then decide, I don't want to do it anymore. And then what's the worst thing is that at least you tried coaching, you had some clients, you did some work, and then maybe you decide it's not your path, but at least you tried it and now you know for sure, rather than like the pain of never trying and never knowing if it was right, and being afraid to fail. That pain is probably worse than the pain of failing. And that's how I think it's good to approach it, is that you don't have to commit to some path for the rest of your life.
Right.
You deserve to give this a try and start doing the work.
Awesome. Yeah, so check out the workshop, and also whether on this video or one of the other ones we've done in this series, you can leave a comment if you're watching the replay and let us know what you're bumping up against this, any questions or insights, and we can expand on them further, and hopefully help you in any more specific ways that we can.
Yeah, thanks, Evan, for
Yeah,
being
thank
here with
you.
me.
Of course.
Fun as always. Can't
Yeah,
wait
my
for next
pleasure.
time.
Yeah, we'll see you all on when is well, we're doing a tag team tapping. That'll be on my channel. So this video will show both of our channels. So if you're subscribed to Nico and not to me and you want to see that, we'll be posting about that too. But that's going to be on Thursday, this coming Thursday at, I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern, and that'll be us just processing with you the whole time. So you'll want to do that if any of this kind of work, if the ideas about this emotional work resonate with you. That'll be us leading tapping rounds, taking turns. So you'll want to check that out.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks. Bye bye.